Welcome to Vegas Live with Ninon, and I just love reoccurring guests. And I just learnt something. She doesn't even know that I'm going to do this, but I'm going to introduce her as Meow.
Meow.
And that's because you were talking to my producer, and he said, he was checking, the speakers or what's going on, and she said, Meow. I love it. So where does this meow come from?
I am Catwoman.
You're what?
I am Catwoman.
That answers that, doesn't it? Catwoman. Meow, meow. And you also are an actress.
I am an actress.
You are
but
an actress.
That came after being Catwoman. I mean, I grew up...
As Catwoman?
Cats just flocked to me. They wanted to be around me. Neighborhood cats would come to my house or live in my yard. It wasn't really my choice. I thought, I'm going to grow up and I'm going to have horses, and cats would flock to me. It's like, well...
They're already flocking to you.
Right. I mean, it's like, if there are superpowers, mine is to
Do
make
you have
cats
dogs
love
as
me.
well come up to you?
I do. I mean,
Yes.
dogs love me because I'm crazy sniffable, but...
I love the answer. That's amazing. But it's funny you should say that, because dogs like me, I don't have a problem with dogs and cats. I've lived in, various houses, and I've always had a cat suddenly sort of poke its little head in, and I call every single one of them Tigre. They're all Tigres. They're all my little tigers come wandering in.
Yeah.
And they stay and they come and they have a little something, and then they look around and they rest themselves, and then off they
Right.
go.
My lap is an area of, territorial pride for my cats.
Your cats. So
they
how many
fight
cats
over
do you
my
have
lap.
now?
I only have 2, but they fight over
You
my
only
lap.
have 2. Do you have any dogs?
Not right now.
No,
I have.
But you like dogs?
Yes, of
yeah,
course.
I'm a lab lover. Oh, I love labs. Labs are my favorite.
Dogs are wonderful. I'm Catwoman. That doesn't mean I can't love dogs.
Love cats, but you could also be Catwoman, actually, in the movie industry.
I would love that.
Well, why don't you just put it out there?
I'm doing it.
Just put it out
I'm
there that
doing
you're
it.
Catwoman and you meow a lot.
I actually am going to play Catwoman for a fan film coming up soon. DC
Oh,
by
you
Night.
will, definitely. Oh, absolutely. So you're telling me this, obviously a recurring guest on my show, Vegas Live with Ninon. So you are starting to do very, very well. Because I remember when you first came on, and things were not, they were going good, but not as good as you wanted. But I've seen your face and your name out there. Mm-hmm. So how's it going?
It's really going wonderfully.
Yeah.
Your show was the first outing I had last year after the pandemic started.
Oh, really?
Right, March 15th, I was set to star in a show, and it was shut down
Yes.
that day. And then 2 days later, everything in Vegas shut down. So
shut down.
March 17th, everything was done. And so I didn't leave my house from March 16th until I went to your show.
So you came to my
in
show.
July, yeah.
And that was when I was at the Pepper Mill. The reason we're not at the Pepper Mill is because they could only have 25% people. By the time I get all my guests and everybody else, I'm like 50%. And now it's 50%. I still can't go back. But then we also found, well, we didn't find, we actually have a new location, which is Quirky Minds Media, and they've sort of opened up to us, and it's fabulous. And
Yeah.
I didn't really close down.
No, you didn't.
I didn't. I kept things going. And then Steve, my producer, he also had, different takes that we'd done, different sort of things we put out there. So we kept going of different shows all the
Right.
time. And we didn't really do that purposely. It just kind of happened. But I don't give up. I always say, well,
Right.
why should we close down? We're not going to have thousands of people. We'll put them in different categories.
Right.
At the Pepper Mill, when I went back to the Pepper Mill, we had to wear a mask. So for 2 or 3 shows, I got a mask on. Well, think about it. In 100 years' time, they're going to watch that and say, oh, remember when they had the epidemic all over the world? We were all locked up. Well, this woman wasn't locked up.
Right.
So now what have you got coming up? Because obviously everything's opening up, everything's starting. What do you think?
Things are opening up, and what I did last year, when I was at home, is I wrote my first screenplay. I wrote a few, and I revised and revamped my novel, and I wrote a blog all last year. I started that in January. So I wrote a blog called 52 Love, which is 52 love lessons in 52 weeks.
Okay. Yes.
1 year of intimacy tips. By November, I had a literary agent who agreed to help me put that together into a book. And now I have started the 52 Love podcast as part of the platform for that book.
So you're actually going... Funny, I'm writing a biography, but I'm not writing a biography. I'm doing it by video. Mm-hmm. Then I'm doing it by podcast. And then it's going by book. And then it's going to be a movie. So I'm doing 4 different
Right,
genres.
but that's all part of your platform for that biography.
That's the platform for the movie to come out and for the whole thing to... So you've also doing the same thing.
Right.
Because you can also have a movie on it.
I could, or
Yes.
I could do a fictional book on someone using all of these tips, which is
Absolutely.
something I've been playing with.
Yeah, so there's no stopping what you can do when everybody tells you to shut down and not do anything. You don't have to shut down and not do anything.
And, my voice was doing that too. I'm writing about all these love lessons, and people are dying, and the riots are happening last year. And I had this crisis last year where I was thinking, why am I writing about love when all of these terrible things are happening?
Things are going on.
Right, like, does this even matter? And it's like from God, people started sending me messages on the blog, in my email, just sending me personal notes saying, this is the one bright spot I have right now is reading your blog. Thank you for continuing to do this. I never told anyone I was having this crisis.
See?
It just this in the same, like, I want to say 7-day period, a bunch of people just started messaging me, thanking me for having something to look forward to. And so it was that was my fuel to keep going.
Isn't that amazing? We can always feel something. We can always find something.
Right.
If we have that tenacity. And I've always been a positive thinker. I don't like negative people around me very much.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yes, I love you and you're absolutely great, but get out of my house. I don't need you. I don't want you, because that brings you down, and you don't want
Right.
things to bring you down. You want to invent things to bring you up. Why do people go to a movie?
To be entertained.
They want to be entertained. They want to be uplifted. They want to see something. Why do people go to a bar and have a drink? Because they want to see people and talk to people.
Yeah.
Why do you listen to a singer? Why do you do all these things? Because you want to bring yourself up. Because maybe you've got to work during the day or what you've got to do. But you've got to have that uplift. So that's what you're giving to people.
Right.
Did you know you were going to do that? Did you know that's what the reaction would be when you started it?
No, not at all. I was just trying to help people improve their love lives. I was just trying to help people. But the funny thing is that there are people in my fan base, people who are the most vocal with their support, and they're not even in relationships. They're just saying, I read these and I watch each of these episodes because now I'm just honing all this information for the next time
when they start getting out of the
right.
Hey, hang on a second, because I think people put their own barriers up.
Mm-hmm.
They don't realize that the world, just because that person's got more money and maybe that person doesn't, and I'm kind of floating around, that I can't do anything. You've got every single chance of doing whatever you want in this world, don't you, as anybody else?
If you put your mind to it, you can accomplish great things.
Yeah, but you can do anything you want in this world. You're the same as anybody else. But they put these barriers around themselves. How do we take that down with your thoughts?
Well, with this, what I try to do is encourage people to just go a little bit beyond their comfort zone. Not do anything crazy, but just a little bit. If you just edge a little bit, you open yourself up to more intimacy and, just a more rewarding relationship.
But then you also can turn around and say, well, I accomplished that. So if I could accomplish that.
And then you can do a little bit more.
Yes. So that's what you see all these rich millionaires and everybody else, they've stretched out. It didn't just, some of them have come from rich families, but there's a lot of them. You look at the younger generation.
Mm-hmm.
You look at these young kids that are starting inventing things. There's more young kids out there. Now, they've had no experience. They've had nothing. And they just start something. So you can start at any time you want.
You really can. It's never too late.
Do you think it's, I was going to just ask that question, do you think sometimes you're too old?
No, I don't.
See? You're not.
Not at all.
Too old to go into acting, singing, and
No.
like this woman I just interviewed.
Right, yeah, she has a phenomenal voice.
What a voice she has, but she's, most people say, oh, she's too old, she can't. She's out there doing stuff still.
You can't be too
And
old
now
to bring
she's gonna-
joy to other people.
No, you can't, I think so. So what are your challenges now?
I guess my challenges are just getting the word out about the podcast.
Okay.
I haven't had any trouble getting guests. My guests have been amazing on this show.
Have a guest. Do they come in as of Zoom, or how do they come in?
Yeah, Zoom or StreamYard. We've used both of those.
Yeah.
But this way I can include people from all over the world. I've had people from England. I have another one of those coming up very soon.
Yeah.
I don't have to limit it to just people that I have immediate access to. I'm very active in the writing community. I'm very active in the filmmaking community.
Yes.
So I can bring in all these different types of creatives and entertainers.
But that's also, you're also giving them time. Is it just a podcast, or is it also, are you filming it?
We are filming it.
You are filming.
Yes.
I was going to say, it'd be a good idea to film it as well and then get that out there. You can always put that on your Facebook page or or Instagram, or you can put it anywhere you want.
Right.
Because I happen to have another show that I do that with. And it's done very well, and it's sort of, but like you, we have people all over the world come on our show. But it's like there's no, I don't think there's any limits to anything of anybody can do. I mean, were you ever a writer?
I'm writing all the time, yeah.
Well, but you weren't.
No, I was.
Oh, you were always
I was
a
a writer
writer
before I was an actor.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you have anything published out there? Or?
I have short stories published, and then I have a short film it's just wrapping up. It's in the final stages of editing. I saw the rough cut, and it's so close, and I can't wait for people to see it,
So you're not limiting yourself to any particular arena, but you are keeping yourself in the entertainment business, whether it's through books or whether it's through pods or
whatever
whatever
the muse is giving me to do. I mean, it's not entirely up to me. When you're connecting with the muse, you write what the muse tells you to write, because that's usually better than anything you're trying to do.
Explain to people what the muse is.
The muse is that piece of creativity that whispers to you and tells you where the story is or where the emotion is.
And that comes within.
It does.
And that can come in, elaborating on it a little bit, that can come in, you could be, I write sonnets and I'm driving down the road and there's this shoe in the road on my left-hand side, and I wrote a sonnet about that. Because that shoe reminded me of a pair of shoes hanging in Los Angeles near the beach that were hanging over a wire. And I made a whole sonnet up about that. The wind comes along, the shoes fly off.
An object, a word, a color,
but
just something inspires you.
You don't have to be sitting, waiting, or trying to think of something.
No, it's usually not when you're doing that.
It's usually
you're in the shower, you're on a run, or you're
doing something, and then all of a sudden, boom, it comes up.
Right. And then you're like, I have to write this like right now.
Yes, that's right. I usually put music on and write them at night because mine become very sexual, actually. I don't know where that came from, but it's just part of
let it
inside.
go.
Well, that's what I figured. Let it go, and I did let it go. Or even people, it's just so many different things. But I think, as you said, use that and don't limit yourself as a 9-to-5 job.
Right, and just because you write it doesn't mean you need to share it, but just get it out, express it.
Just write it just for yourself.
Right.
What do your family think of all this? Because they're obviously watching you grow. And
my mother is my absolute biggest super fan.
Oh, how sweet.
She's even had a little play fight with my second biggest super fan, saying, nope, I am number one. I'm going to stay number one. But, they like each other, and it's great.
That is good. That is good.
I have about 11 super fans. Only one of them is my mother, which is great.
Yeah, Mum has to be. Well, as long as you've got your mum. Because she knows you better than anyone.
She's the one who tells me that I can do absolutely anything. If I say you'll be the best. Yes. Well, let me tell you what it is first.
Where are you originally from? Are you from Vegas?
No, Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. Mm-hmm. Very different there than there.
Yeah.
Family live in Pennsylvania?
I have Pennsylvania family, New Jersey family, California family, Maryland, Virginia, and Las Vegas.
Fabulous. So what would you tell people like you in the younger generation how to sort of, get out of that sort of cabbage chair, whatever it is, and start doing something?
Oh, I mean, without knowing what it is that calls to them, I would say just try different things. Read books, watch movies,
Get yourself out of that slumber.
Right. Find something that speaks to you. Find something that sings to you.
Yeah.
And then explore it. It's not going to be perfect the first time you do it.
It might not ever be perfect.
Right, but
it
you just
doesn't
need to
matter.
practice and try. And if it brings you joy, then there's no reason that you shouldn't be embracing it.
And it's funny you say that, because I look at my producer, Steve Sebo, and he's absolutely amazing. But I remember when he first came. In fact, I've known him before.
We should say he's my producer, too.
Well, he's mine first.
That's right. She's sharing.
I'm sharing my producer. But I remember, when he first came on, he didn't have this camera. He didn't have all this stuff. He didn't have the knowledge of everything. And I've watched over the years of how he's built himself up and how he's getting out there. Now he has you as a client, and now he does filming and editing and everything for you. And that's how it works. But he stretched out. He didn't know how to do my show at all, but he said, I'll do it. and he did it.
And he learned,
And
and
he
he
learned,
grew,
and
and
he
he
learned,
his
and, you
knowledge
know,
base expanded, and that's how it works.
Anybody can do that. Anybody out there. You don't have to be an entertainer. You could be some little quiet person that's like a cabbage, potato, whatever you call it, piano. What is that expression?
A couch potato?
Couch potato. Oh, that's it. I was a cabbage. Well, you can be a cabbage as well, or you can be a couch, or you can
Or
be
a couch
potato.
cabbage.
Now we're getting silly. Well, that's what women do. Women get silly because we see the fun side of life, because we always do, don't we?
You know, the men in my life are sillier than the women. They really are. They're very
How many men have you had in your life? Come on.
I'm talking about family.
Oh, she got out of that one real fast. I love it. Anyway, she's absolutely amazing. Tonya Todd has been out there. Watch out for her name. She's going to be, I guarantee she's going to be a big star out there. The reason I say that, she has the tenacity. She doesn't stop. But not only is she a movie star, she also creates other things. You also do other things that are in the same genre.
I do.
Yes, you do. So you're putting it on. How can anybody reach you?
I am across social media at Ms. Tonya Todd. My website is mstonyatodd.com, and my podcast is now there, Stephen.
Absolutely wonderful. Thank you.
And of
for
course,
watching.
check me out on IMDb. That always helps actors.
IMDb, yeah, I'm
Yes.
on that somewhere. I think I've got to upgrade it or do something. But I'm so busy with so many different shows going on right now. But everything's absolutely amazing. So don't let the pandemic keep you down. Just let it slide away. I know we're having 2 masks now rather than 1. I don't know where that came from. I mean, but anyway, it did happen. But apparently we're getting very out of this pandemic. Everything's floating along absolutely beautiful. But don't forget to subscribe to Vegas Live with Ninon, and also that's on YouTube. And just keep in touch with us. And any of you who would like to come on Vegas Live with Ninon, just send an email or a text to the number. I forgot the number, whatever it is, but it's not my number. But send an email to talent@vegaslivewithninon.com. We'll be right back next week, and you take care. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the last show we just did and all the other shows, don't forget to subscribe Vegas Live with Ninon on YouTube. We've got plenty more coming up, and our guests are amazing. So don't forget to subscribe. We'll be right back. Vegas Live with Ninon.